Tesla's May was not just another news cycle, it was the month when expectations started moving closer to reality. But here is the key point. For long term investors, May was not the final answer. May was the beginning of the confirmation phase. Hi everyone, Ken here. Today, let's look back at Tesla's most important stories from May. But this is not just a simple monthly news recap, because if you follow Tesla every day, you already know how noisy it can get. TSLA stock, FSD, Robotaxi, global sales, Tesla energy, semi, recalls, battery concerns. There are so many headlines that it becomes hard to know what really matters. So in this video, I want to separate the signal from the noise. My view is simple. May was the month when Tesla's future story started to feel more real. But June will be the month when investors ask one big question. Can Tesla actually prove it? Let's start with TSLA stock. The biggest stock-related event in May was Tesla breaking above the $400 level. And $400 is not just a random number. For investors, it is a psychological line. Below $400, many investors still feel cautious. Above $400, the market starts to ask, is Tesla coming back? That is why the breakout mattered. Tesla even moved close to the $450 area, which showed that investors were starting to price in optimism again. But this is where we need to stay calm. A move toward $450 is positive, but it does not automatically mean the bull trend is fully back. The next question is whether Tesla can turn $400 into support, and after that, whether it can clearly break through $450. For me, this is the key stock market message from May. Sentiment improved, the chart became stronger, but confirmation is still ahead. Next, let's talk about FSD. To me, May was the month when FSD stopped being only an American story. We saw growing expectations around FSD supervised in China. We saw progress in Europe, including countries like the Netherlands, Lithuania, and Estonia. And we also saw more attention on real-world driving data. This is important because Tesla's biggest advantage in autonomous driving is not just software, it is data. Tesla is collecting real-world driving data from many different roads, drivers, cities, and conditions. That gives Tesla a very different approach from companies that rely mainly on limited service areas. The Canada cross-country drive using FSDV 14.3.3 also became a symbolic story. From Vancouver to Halifax, over 6,000 kilometers. That kind of story gives investors a real image of progress. But we also need to be honest. FSD supervised is still supervised. It is not the same as fully autonomous driving. The driver still has responsibility. So the investment takeaway is this. FSD is clearly moving forward, but the business impact depends on regulation, safety validation, public trust, and international rollout. That is why FSD is exciting, but investors should not treat it as already completed. Now, Robotaxi. This may be Tesla's most important long-term story. In May, reports said Tesla Robotaxi, LLC, received approval in Texas for commercial robotaxi operation. That matters because robotaxi is moving from a vision into an actual operating business. But here is what many people miss. Robotaxi is not just about a car driving itself. A real robotaxi business needs charging, it needs maintenance, it needs cleaning, it needs insurance, it needs customer support, it needs fleet management, and when something goes wrong, Tesla needs a clear response system. In other words, software is only one part of the business. Execution is the real test, and this is why the vehicle count is important. Tesla reportedly had 42 registered robotaxi vehicles. That is still small, so the real question is not whether Tesla can get approval. The real question is scale. Can Tesla go from 42 vehicles to 100, from 100 to 500, and eventually to thousands? If Tesla can scale safely using existing Model Y vehicles and software updates, the economics could become very powerful. But if scaling is slow or if safety issues appear, the market will become much more cautious. So for Robotaxi, May was not the victory lap. May was the starting line. Next is global sales. This was another important part of May. Tesla showed signs of recovery in China, Korea, and Europe. That matters because one of the biggest concerns around Tesla has been demand. Investors have been asking whether Tesla is losing momentum. They have also been asking whether Tesla is being pressured too much by Chinese competitors. So when recovery signs appear in several markets at the same time, sentiment improves quickly. But again, 1 month is not enough. The real question is whether Tesla can continue growing deliveries, and even more importantly, whether Tesla can protect margins at the same time, because selling more cars through heavy discounts is not the same as healthy growth. For investors, the key is not just volume, it is volume plus profitability. That is what we need to watch next. Now, let's move beyond cars. Tesla Energy may become one of the most underrated parts of the company. In May, we saw more signs that Megapack could connect directly with the AI data center boom. AI needs massive electricity, and more importantly, AI needs stable electricity. That is where energy storage becomes critical. So when people talk about Tesla only as an EV company, I think they are missing something important. Tesla Energy could become an infrastructure business for the AI era. It may not be as exciting as Robotaxi on the surface, but from a long-term investor perspective, stable infrastructure demand can be extremely valuable. Tesla Semi also showed progress. The key point with Semi is that this is not a consumer product. It is a commercial vehicle. That means companies will care about operating cost, charging infrastructure, reliability, and delivery scale. So the question is not, does the Semi look impressive? The question is, can it reduce logistics costs in the real world? That is the test. Of course, May was not only positive. There are still real risks. The 4680 battery remains important because it connects directly to cost reduction, manufacturing efficiency, and margins. If 4680 execution is slower than expected, that can affect Tesla's long-term cost structure. There were also recalls and quality control issues. Some of them may be solved through software updates or limited actions, but investors should not ignore them completely. Quality matters, trust matters, and in autonomous driving, trust matters even more. Competition is also intense. BYD, Xiaomi, XPeng, and other Chinese EV makers are not weak competitors. The EV market is no longer a market where simply making electric cars is enough. Price, software, brand, charging network, service, and manufacturing scale all matter. Tesla still has major advantages, but it has to keep proving them. So here is my conclusion. May was the month when Tesla's expectations moved closer to reality. TSLA stock broke above $400. FSD became more global. Robotaxi moved closer to real commercial operation. Sales showed signs of recovery. Energy and Semi continued to build the non-EV story. But June is where the confirmation begins. Can Tesla break through $450? Can FSD continue expanding internationally? Can Robotaxi move beyond a small fleet? Can global sales recovery continue without margin pressure? These are the real questions. As a long-term investor, I do not think the goal is to be blindly bullish or blindly bearish. The goal is to separate facts from expectations. Tesla is moving forward, but the market now wants execution, and that is exactly what we need to watch next. What do you think was the most important Tesla story in May? Was it TSLA stock, FSD, Robotaxi, global sales, energy, or semi? Let me know in the comments. And if you want daily Tesla analysis from a long-term investor perspective, please subscribe to Life in the Future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Before we wrap up, let me take a moment to introduce myself. I drive a Tesla Model Y, and at home, I've installed a Tesla Powerwall, so I actually charge my car with solar energy. I truly believe Tesla is shaping the future, and that's why I share the latest news and insights here on this channel. I'm from Japan, but I want to connect with Tesla fans all around the world. That's why I also create an English version of my videos. YouTube now lets you switch the audio into your own language, so you can enjoy it in whatever language you prefer. Most of all, I'd love to connect with Tesla fans everywhere so we can support Tesla together. I also share updates on X, so feel free to follow me there and let's connect. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.